Um, Jim Ryan had a lot of announcements, very interesting announcements about Sony. PlayStation VR 2 coming in 2022, etc. But the announcement that I think got a lot of people angry is that they announced Austin's game that he has been playing, Days Gone, is coming to PC in March. And in that same interview, Jim Ryan also alluded and said there will be other PlayStation games coming to PC as well. So my question today for you gentlemen is, which PlayStation games do you think are coming to PC next? So, Gary, how about you go first? Because you actually reviewed Horizon Zero Dawn on PC. So why don't you have an opportunity to tell us how that experience was, if there was a positive or negative, and which games you think might be coming to PC next?
Yeah. So, yeah, Horizon. It was the only thing is it wasn't optimized very well. And that was before I upgraded my PC because I recently upgraded. So it was like the performance was really bad. It wasn't very well optimized, but I need to try it again with my new PC just to see how it compares. But I think this is a good thing though, for PlayStation, because Microsoft. If you look at Microsoft, they're expanding their revenue streams, right, with Game Pass, and everything like that. They're structuring their business in a really good way to where they can, they have a lot of different ways to make money from gamers. So PlayStation, I feel like this is a good move for them. If they, the only thing is, I don't think they should release like let's say God of War comes out, right? God of War 2. I don't think they should release it on PC within the first year of its release. Like leave it exclusive on the console for a whole year, and then after that year, release some of these games on PC, because that's gonna basically get you some more money. Like you'll be able to make more money from these games overall. So I think it makes good business sense to release some of these exclusives on PC, after a year or more. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if Ghost of Tsushima is one of the ones that come out, maybe later on this year or something like that. And I'm not sure about God of War specifically, because I feel like it would be good business wise if they release the first God of War on PC. I think it would make a lot of sense. But at the same time, I do think they have to leave something completely exclusive just to incentivize people to buy the console. So it's a bit 50-50, because God of War is one of the flagship games. Last of Us is another one. So I wouldn't be mad if they left those two completely exclusive to the console, and then other titles like Ghost of Tsushima could, and maybe Bloodborne or something like that could release on PC, after the fact. But yeah, my guess is going to be Ghost of Tsushima. I think we might see that on PC.
Interesting. Okay. How about you, Tony?
Yeah, what I think they're going to do is, okay, just back it up a little bit, right? I think putting old games that have run their course on PC is brilliant, right? You get a new audience in there, you get more money, and potentially have some of these guys, not a large amount, but some of these guys going, man, I want to play the sequel to that. I can only get on PS5 and get a PS5, right? So it makes sense business-wise, right? And it's also good just for the legacy of Sony, like you can have these games on PC in perpetuity, right? Theoretically speaking, and they're accessible. But I agree with Gary that they're not going to just start rushing all their games on day one. That's not going to happen. What Sony's going to do, this is what I predict is going to happen. The vast majority of these games that you're going to see coming out in the next few years are going to be PS4 games. So Ghost of Tsushima is a PS4 game, so you could see that, right? I could definitely see that. I don't know when. I think they may hold off on that a little bit because it's still doing well, but I think we'll see that, right? We're going to see a lot of legacy games coming, Uncharted, God of Wars, right? We're going to see all of that. The PS5 games, those are going to come, but it's going to take a while. And you guys, and Gary, you specifically could, correct me on this because I'm not as tech savvy as you, right? I'm thinking the SSD on the PlayStation having something like that equivalent on PC won't be standard for a while. You know, like my PS5 blows away my PC speed because it's faster with the SSD, right? I think PS5 games will come to PC when more, gaming PCs just have SSDs as a standard. That's when I think it'll happen. So I think it's going to be a little while, So that's my take on it. I think it's good. Keep it coming. But I will say, also keep it coming. I'm just being a troll right now because I love seeing the fanboys going crazy on Twitter. Free entertainment with these fanboys. Oh, Sony betrayed me. How dare they do this? I put so much of my stock and faith to this company, and they're putting their games on fucking PC. They're betrayers. I'm like, all right, bro, calm it down, man. You realize that Sony is not coming to take your games away, right? You can still play them on PlayStation. You're still good. No one's taking your games away. Jim Ryan's not going to come to your house in the middle of the night and gag you and then take your Horizon away. That ain't happening. So let the PC guys. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And I'm just going to say this last thing. You sound like a fucking asshole when you say that shit. That you don't want other people playing a game just because you own it. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. That is really selfish, man. No one's taking your game away, so you want to take their game away? No. I don't play that shit, man. That's not cool. You sound like a fucking asshole. It's stupid. So yeah, put them all on PC. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, it only benefits Sony because it's like now more people get to know the library and what the games have to offer, and there might be a situation where like let's say they release like Ghost of Tsushima on PC, and somebody plays it and loves it on PC, and then they announce Ghost of Tsushima 2 is coming on PS5, a year from now or something like that. That person might actually go and get the console because they don't want to wait for it to come to PC. Like they want to get it day one. Mm-hmm. So this only helps their business. Like so, gamers who complain they're not thinking logically. They're not they love PlayStation, but if you want PlayStation to do well, you should want them to do this, like to spread their wings and put these games on PC because it's only going to help them in the long run. So.
Yeah. Here, I have a quick question. Not to sidetrack too much, but I have a quick question. So, actually, question/comment, right? Because the other thing is like these games are not part of the PlayStation ecosystem. You know what I'm saying? They're not. They're like they have separate achievements and all this other stuff. So, I don't understand how like I guess that's another reason why I don't understand the complaints. I'm like, no one's invading your PlayStation ecosystem. It's still there, but at the same time, will we get to a point, and that's the question, will we get to a point where we will see trophies on PC for these games? That would be interesting, because right now the difference between Microsoft and Sony is Microsoft, all their games are on their ecosystem. Windows 10 is their ecosystem. But Sony's games, they're on different storefronts or whatever. So what do you guys think about that? Will they eventually make it like part of the Sony ecosystem, these PC games?
Yeah, and this is something I've been saying for a long time. They need to really, really work on PS Now, because that could be their way of, making PlayStation available to more platforms. So like, you could let's say for example you download the PS Now app, on PC, and it's just like Steam basically, but it's all PlayStation games. And then you make a PlayStation account, and any game you play, you earn trophies, and your friends on PS5 can see your trophies as well. Like it's all integrated, right? I think that is the direction they need to go in, and I think PS Now is like the best way that they can achieve that. If they're able to fix some of the issues with the service.
I agree with that. And speaking about PS Now, and then I'll let you guys go. I find it interesting how all these other streaming services, even Google Stadia, say what you will about it, they perform so well. Like when I was, I reviewed all the major ones last year, right? Google Stadia, Shadow, Project xCloud, Luna, and there's another one I'm missing. They all performed. It was like playing locally, right? Yet PS Now is still fucking up. Like how is it that everybody else trumped them and they're still so far behind? So you're right. They need to really step it up, because PlayStation Now would be really, really dope. Imagine at $15 a month, you get all these games. That'd be legit. But they need to fix the pricing and fix the latency, and they'll be all right.
Yeah, indeed. and just to talk about that on, you know, more deeper level, like, because they could do it both ways, right? So like PS Now, you could have it on PC and you could stream the games, and that could be the service side of it, where maybe you pay a monthly fee or whatever. But you could also offer the games as downloads too. So like you purchase the game, download it like usual, like, you know, like Horizon on PC. But instead you're not using Steam. You're using their client. So they should have like an actual client, PlayStation client on PC. So I think, yeah, they definitely need to do that, especially as they release more of these PlayStation titles. That's something they need to think about. So
I agree. How about you, Austin?
I am of the mindset. Not a big fan of gatekeepers in the sense that, like, if you can't get a hold of something, don't tear down people who do get it, but instead, you know, this is going to be really mean and maybe unrealistic. But if people are bitching about, like, I still considered console. I still view there to be some segment of like console exclusivity. I'm a guy who mostly deals with. So like in the case of the Xbox releases, I still see like Fable as an Xbox exclusive, even though it can come to PC. In that situation, you know, like I see nothing wrong with getting more PlayStation games to PC owners. I'm a fan of like exclusives as long I own both, and not to be mean, but like don't bitch about exclusivity. Go out and get that grind on and go buy that other console and enjoy those games. That's the best way to go about it. But like, I have no issue with more people getting the chance to play something like Days Gone. It's a sound game, especially like Death Stranding, which by all accounts apparently didn't sell well. So it's getting a second life. So yeah, I mean, like if PlayStation wants to bring its games over to a second ecosystem that isn't a competitor as much as it is like a support system, to give them a second life, I'm down for it. I guarantee you, if the Order 1886 got a PC release, there would be more people requesting a sequel.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Which I still think there should be one, but I guess we'll never get one due to the Oculus buyout. But yeah, I don't know. Like I'm totally fine with it happening. At the end of the day, I think it's a good thing to happen. I do think, to piggyback off something Tony said, my favorite exclusives are ones that play to the performance kind of like boost of the respective console. So once Xbox finally starts optimizing their console, I expect Series X games to look great. I don't think we'll see a lot of PS5 games being brought over, just because 5.5 gigabytes a second isn't a speed that a lot of SSDs can do. And hell, like Ratchet apparently is like you cannot play Ratchet on anything else but a PS5, from what I've heard.
Oh.
So my thing is like feed that ecosystem. Put Ratchet and Clank 2016 on PC. Get PC people excited enough to buy their PS5 version of a ripped apart.
Yeah.
I would definitely see of the few games, I would think that I think Ghost of Tsushima is a very non-controversial opinion. The Last of Us, I don't know. I would like a Last of Us PS5 patch or a Last of Us PS5 port before it gets a PC release.
Well,
yeah, I think if they're gonna put Last of Us on PC, it only makes sense to do it as a collection, in my opinion. Like, so maybe not like
1 and 2
soon. Yeah. So like both games basically, but not anytime soon, because like, you know, Last of Us 2 is still kind of close. Like it was recently, so maybe after some time they could release both games on PC or something.
Maybe when we finally get that multiplayer.
Yeah, the factions, which I'm guessing will probably get announced in the next couple of months. Who knows?
I think so.
But Yeah, I think you all have very good points, and I asked that question because I did see some of the outrage that people had with Days Gone, and I laughed at that because I recall when Days Gone first came out, a lot of people didn't really like the game that much. That was a game where they said, well, it doesn't feel like the quality, it doesn't feel like it's a quality PlayStation title because it needed so many patches when it released. The performance wasn't up to par. So that's why I was surprised that there was such an outrage. Oh, this is coming to PC. So I expect that same outrage when Last of Us 2 is announced as coming to PC, and that'll be funny as well for other reasons. But we'll see. But yeah, I agree with the strategy. And the other last point that I will make is that I know that Sony, I believe it was well, Andrew House is no longer with Sony, if I recall. One of the things I recall they mentioned in the past is that they spend so much money on these games, so they need to have some type of return on their investment. So I think them coming to PC after a certain period of time is really good because you want Sony to keep making money so they can keep pumping that money back into the actual first-party studios. So I don't have a problem with that whatsoever.
I get that at the same time, though. I feel like apparently The Last of Us Part 2 is a $100 million plus game. That game should not be $100 million when it comes to budget.
Why? Why is it that much?
I mean, it's chunky. It's long. I'm sure the motion matching tech they got from Ubisoft was probably pricey. What I like about Sony and what I would hope they would continue to do are these smaller titles. But then seeing like Japan studio shut down, it doesn't give me too much hope that like budget Sony is still going to be around. So I don't know. We'll see. I get the need to recoup your losses, but not everything needs to be millions.
I agree.
Hell, I think the first 3 Uncharted were like 20 million apiece, and then Uncharted 4 was the one that was like 60 or something. Because they had the engineer from Halo 4 who dropped by and made it super pretty. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see.